Be curious to hear, what you guys are seeing as our biggest lead driver in 2023.
For me, in the businesses we're in, call it a coincidence, call it, whatever you want. But the companies that we're involved in, the ones that embrace the social media, Facebook's free, the ones that embrace it, what a coincidence. They seem to do better than the ones that are always struggling to, keep posting and keep doing it. So to me, it's all digital now.
It's time to level up a few thousand degrees with the Lava Hot Podcast and host Joseph Connell Jr. You'll hear from ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things, from tech startup CEOs and marketing professionals to authors, investors, and sales trainers. This show will be packed with information to help you level up in life or business, taking you from on fire up to lava hot.
Hello and welcome to the Lava Hot Podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Connell. Look, if you are in a spot where you're wanting to scale your business, let's say you've got a business that's running and operating, you're doing anywhere from a couple $100,000 up to $1 million, or you're at $1 million to $3 million. If you're trying to scale a business, then this is the right episode for you. The two individuals that we have on the show today, they have not scaled one business to higher heights, but they've actually put together and built over 32 businesses. But let me just dive into a little bit of the background about Mike and Bo. Today we're going to unleash the wisdom and the wit of serial entrepreneurs who have taken the shot first, aim later approach to a whole new level. Mike and Bo are best friends and business partners who've defied the odds. Hailing from the small town of Bullhead City, Arizona, they've built an empire of 32 businesses and 120 commercial real estate properties across multiple states. So get ready for this get ready to be inspired by this humble beginning story and the unbreakable bond that fueled this journey. Mike and Bo, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. We appreciate it, man.
Yes, thank you for having me. We're honored to be on your show, so thank you very much.
Absolutely. So I always like to share, a little bit about our show. We've built this entire show for business owners, local to mid-sized companies, entrepreneurs, wantrepreneurs, sales professionals. And what we strive to do is bring on guys just like yourself that can really lay out some of the pitfalls of business, some of the things that they've learned over their years, how to scale a business, how to market a business. And scaling is one that it's a topic I always love to talk about because businesses, they should be striving to scale. They should be trying to figure out, how do we scale our marketing? How do we increase our revenues? And having 32 companies, I'm willing to bet that you guys have a lot of insights that are going to be valuable. Me, I come from a background of doing marketing predominantly for local to mid-sized home service companies. And I know you guys have some home service companies in your portfolio, but if you could, I just want to get a little bit of background of how this all started, maybe that first company, how you saw the growth in that, and then how you've scaled this into 32 businesses.
Sure. So I'm Mike, this is Bo, and we live in Bullhead City, Arizona, like you said. I knew right away when I was younger, just by selling the things I was making and just as a little hustler kid, 6 years old, knocking on doors. So I kind of knew early on that I was going to be self-employed. But my first opportunity came when after graduation from high school. I was looking for an opportunity. There was a second cousin type situation that we met up, didn't even know him, but he had a small chain of video stores in Minnesota. Talked to him, and I came back to Arizona, did my research, found a few locations, but possible locations for video stores. Anyways, got in the video business was the first thing that I did. And I knew right away in business that the one video store, it took off. It was, doing crazy business the first day it opened. But I knew early on that one wasn't going to be enough for me, one of anything. So once I realized that, then I realized that I have to be in businesses that back then it was Kmart and Walmart or whatever that they weren't in. So I knew that I had to have enough money to pay the bills, pay myself, and then have enough profit left over where I could have a manager run those companies and be able to take money to go open another business. So I started out pretty young knowing that I wanted to scale for whatever reason. I just knew that wasn't going to be enough. And so that's what got me started on that. Later on, I got into the laundry business, and it was the same mentality. I opened my first laundromat. Realized that wasn't going to be enough, so opened a small chain of laundromats around our area. Then I hit all the apartment complexes, took over theirs or added laundry to their facilities, RV parks, and just kept scaling on, whether it was car washes, every business I've done. I always had to, once I started scaling, I had no other choice because there's only so much time in a day. So I'm only getting into business, and that's Bo can attest to that have enough profits where you don't have to sit behind the counter of the Slurpee store or tire store or whatever business you're in. We recognized right away, we have to be able to have someone, after we put our systems in place, that can take over, pay that person a good wage, and then have enough profits to go and do something else with. So that's how we got started, or how I got started in that, in knowing I was going to scale.
Great.
It was kind of the same. And honestly, like Mike and I have been best friends for probably 25 years. We didn't start doing business till about 10 years ago. So the big upscale for us was probably over the last 10 years of doing business together. Yeah. But we had the same philosophies. We were best friends. We were just always talking, but we kind of just had our own things going. But it's always been the same. Like with him, it's customer service. With me, it's customer service. And then scaling. We're never happy with doing one thing. We just call ourselves entrepreneurial cowboys, man. We are freaks about it. There's never enough. There's never, like you watch social media and you got to figure out what your end game is. We still don't know what our end game is. If another building comes on the market, we are chasing. If it's not on the market, we're knocking on the doors. So we're obsessive compulsive about it. We're serial entrepreneurs. And, the money comes if you put in the hard work and good customer service, take care of your people, build your culture, it'll take off and it'll thrive for you. And a lot of people don't realize that it's not a flip of a switch and you change. It's just dedication and hard work and persistence, and shit happens.
And then one more thing on that scaling is, out of those 32 companies you mentioned, we don't have, out of all those companies, I only own one business that I own sole proprietor. So we recognized early on, to recognize amazing people that are experts in their industry. And by being, quality people, you attract quality people, and then you hire or you partner with those. And then it's just snowballed that way. So every single business we're in, we have a partner that's an expert in that.
Absolutely. So almost like an acquisitions type of model where you'll buy into a business or invest in a business, or businesses, you attract businesses and they say, hey, we need your help. Can you come in and execute on the systems, processes that you guys utilize in these other companies? Is that kind of the case there?
Because of having so many, a little bit of that, a little bit of startup from the ground up, a little bit of buying in or partnering with someone that's an expert in the field, but they've just worked for somebody else and grown their business and scaled, but never had the opportunity to become an owner. And we're partners in Houston Motorsports. We partnered with a tremendous guy and with an entrepreneurial spirit and mind and culture. And we have 5 motorsports stores, and he's killing it. We got Mike owns a bunch of furniture stores. He had a young man that worked for him for probably 7 or 8 years. He was a manager for him. We started a storage company with him, and now we have a little over 40 different storage facilities all over the country. So, so it's just been taking people that we've developed relationships with, whether they're employees or other entrepreneurs, and pulled out whatever is the best qualities in them, and then our ability to put things together and made it happen.
Yeah. So out of curiosity, like when you first, and I want to go from that, like a business initially reaches out to you because they need help. Mm-hmm. What do you find are the typical bottlenecks that the average business has that is stopping or stunting the growth of them being able to, go to the next level?
A lot of times it's as simple as that business not charging enough for their service or product. And if you're in the business you're in, helping service people, they almost always underestimate the value of their time and stuff. So you can pretty much give someone a raise just evaluating their business because they're probably not charging enough for the product or service. And they used to charge very little, then they raised it up 5 years ago, and now they're too nervous to raise it up again. So the first thing to do, are you charging enough? That's the very first and the easiest low-hanging fruit, right? Is charge more. Yeah. And you automatically start making more. But if that's the main thing, is coming.
And a lot of times what happens with them is, the fact is, whenever you're undercharging or undervaluing what you do, then next thing you know, you start giving menial service. So then you can't up it. So we always say, charge like a badass and be a badass.
Yes.
And it's so fun to run a company that's involved in selling a good quality product that you believe in. And then there's no guilty feeling about getting paid for it, because you know that you're giving the service.
And then you can hire better management to run those companies because you're charging more. So a lot of times people get stuck behind the counter or the tire store or whatever, you know, even contractors that we know, they're just not charging enough for the service that they're offering. And it's hard to find unbelievable service. So if you're able to give that and you have experts working for you, then you got to charge for it. So one thing is just recognizing that, and then having the mindset of, you can't be an entrepreneur. You can, you know, go to work every day and do that. But if you're going to have multiple tire stores or whatever business you're in, you have to be able to let go of some of the control. And a lot of people have a problem with that. And Bo and I are excellent with giving someone an opportunity. There's the rope. Either go hang yourself or pull us along, you know? So you got to be able to let go and let people make mistakes, correct them, help them, train them up. But you got to be able to let go. And a lot of small companies get stuck in, no, I'm the only one that can make the bread in the morning, or I'm the only one that can make the deposit, or I'm the only one that can do my books. Well, if you have that mentality, you're never going to be able to scale. So you have to work through that. You got to get out of that mentality that I'm doing everything and I'm the most important person. No, you can hire your way out of it if you can train well and you have good quality people.
Right. What would you say is a great quality to have or look for when hiring the right person to oversee certain tasks?
Like, for instance, the person Bo just described, his name is Denny, our partner. He brought, in the storage business, he brought the first deal to us. That's how it happened. And he asked if I wanted to be a partner. And I didn't want to be a partner first. I was going to just help him how to finance, how to deal with banks, how to write the letter of intent, how to get an extension when you weren't able to do it. And it wasn't until the last day that he was going to lose it that I go, okay, now I'll be your partner. And this is, you know, go down to the bank and get a check, and what made it all happen. But when you ask that question, what we look for is total honesty. You got to be a transparent, humble person to be around us. Yeah. And there's so many people that aren't, that we don't have, out of all those companies, we don't have any partner lawsuits. We don't have anything going on like that. You just got to find really quality people, someone that's humble, that's generous, that is not greedy. Greed comes up a lot. So during the period that you're getting to know that person, if any of those things come up, we just bail out. We're not going to change someone. We're not trying to change anybody, as far as if you're a greedy type person or you're not humble. But you just got to be humble and totally appreciated. We appreciate everything, but we just want more. And so we have different ways of doing something, but we're going after the same ball. So we try to find people with that same mindset.
Very cool. Yeah. So I'm curious about, right now, if you watch the news, they say that we're in a recession, that we're navigating through a recession. I have my personal belief. I feel like recession starts here. The moment you start pushing that and start believing in that's kind of like, you'll attract that level of economy, if you will. I want to know, at running 32 businesses, I feel like you would have enough of a testing pool to be able to say, like, I don't feel a recession, or are you of the same mindset that it really does come down to the individual? And I'd like your kind of take on that.
I'll tell you what, Mike has a philosophy in business, and honestly, we make each other better because there's pros and cons to each one of our ways of chasing that same football every day. But he runs every business like every day that he gets up, it's a Super Bowl, baby. And if you chase it like that every day of your life, who worries about the gas prices? Who worries about recession? Don't worry about any of that stuff. If you're staying to the path and grinding every day. Now, obviously, is things are kind of slowing up a little bit for us in different businesses. Doesn't mean that we're focusing a little bit more on this or that, making sure that we're staying on top of our training. But it's not like, even whenever things were going well, it wasn't like we were sitting back celebrating. It wasn't like, oh, okay, now's the time to, let's just enjoy this time. We constantly push every day. You know what I mean? Once you go to the gym and you get consistent going to the gym and then you get fit, do you just stop getting fit? No, you keep going. You keep trying to get to that next goal. A winner never feels like he's accomplished, and it's the same way in business.
Even yesterday, I was at one of my furniture stores, and I go, there is a tide movement. Things, interest rates go up, but they've gone up, a lot. So he's still selling the shit out of pools. I'm still selling a lot of furniture. But guess what? It was easier before. Let's go back a year and a half. It was easier. But what are you going to do? Quit? No, you can't get in that mindset. Like you said, it's in your head. So I've made money in recessions, out of recessions, in recessions, out of recessions. But you make small adjustments. But if you're doing everything right, you're running lean, you're acting like it's a Super Bowl every day. There's always going to be a headwind coming up. It might be COVID. It might be a recession. It might be competition coming to town. But when competition comes to town in the businesses we're in, we don't have to change nothing because we're acting as though competition's coming every day, the recession every day. And keep your foot on the throttle and never let up. So we don't give ourselves breaks to go, so some days it's harder to sell a sofa or rent a storage place or get a fab contract or whatever all the businesses we're in. But guess what? Some days it's easy, some days it's hard, but you still go fishing every day. You just always are hammering down.
Yeah. So me being a marketing guy and knowing that you guys have a variety of, different service companies and home service companies, I want to get your take on like some of the things that a business should be implementing or doing and utilizing within their marketing plans in 2023. Some of the things that you've seen be either tried and true, which is weird because for me, I've marketed companies and seen success on things like traditional newspaper and direct mail, which oftentimes that stuff gets overlooked in 2023. But I also know on the flip side, there's, a lot of stuff in the digital landscape that you have to utilize and you have to have as part of your marketing game plan. But I'd be curious to hear, what you guys are seeing as like the some of the top, like this is our biggest lead driver in 2023.
For me, in the businesses we're in, call it a coincidence, call it, whatever you want. But the companies that we're involved in, the ones that embrace the social media, Facebook's free, the ones that embrace it, what a coincidence. They seem to do better than the ones that are always struggling to, keep posting and keep doing it. So to me, it's all digital now. And believe me, I do the mail flyers. I do newspapers still in the smaller communities that we're in. We do radio. We're doing everything. But at the end of the day, the buildings and businesses that we buy are the older guys that aren't using any of that. They're the low-hanging fruit. So anybody that's listening that, we just never got updated our website. We had it built 10 years ago or whatever. But unless you're using social media, you're dying. And I don't care even if you're a dentist, whatever it is, you have to be embracing social media. You've hit on, all the points and everyone else, knows them also. But it's the easiest thing to do, but it's the hardest thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like they in some cases, they don't value the thing that's free. Like they don't realize that just, just consistently putting out like a before and after post if you're a power washing company or just a quality post about a online review that you got, or even just a push for online reviews, I think is a significant piece to it.
Company that
we got a pressure washing guy that we're coaching through and he's hitting us up and it's just like social media, man, come on, I'm telling you, do it. And the guy's super disciplined. It's not that he's lazy and he's not doing it.
It's good guy.
And so this was probably 6 months ago. Dude, I get up every morning. That dude is like, he's up at 3:00 in the morning and he's posting some picture of him pressure washing something. But I guarantee you, his business is scaling.
Yes.
Small community, small young entrepreneur, man, I'm rooting for him. Every time he calls me, I pick up the phone.
He's getting all the franchises around town. He's getting all the big jobs, and how, there's so many people that go buy a pressure washer and think they're in business, but he literally is in business. He's got all the contracts and he's doing it, right?
And at the end of the day, if you're marketing who you are more than your product, you're going to sell.
Yes.
People buy from people.
Yes.
As long as you're providing a good service, obviously, but you shouldn't be in business if you're not providing a good service. But people want to buy from people. Even us, when we first started in social media and just doing the Mike and Bo brand, it was more just to get out to who we are. Before you meet us, I want you to know who we are. I want people, whether it's a banker, whether it's a realtor, whether it's, a possible partner down the road or just hard money investor. What's the best way for them to really truly get the inside to you without meeting you and spending, hours and hours sitting in front of one another, getting to know each other, going to dinners, having lunches? Dude, get on my social media. You'll know who I am because I'm the same in social media that I am in my personal life and in my business life.
Yeah. No, I would say, and for me, I'm a testament to it that, and I still, even though, I'm a marketing guy, the social media, I always say I'm like the house cleaner that has a dirty house. Like, it's crazy. Like me marketing another business has always been like that's my strong suit. I'm great at it. And when it comes to my stuff, we're actually interviewing people because I want somebody that actually does it for me, because I just have a challenge with it. And even with the limited amount of stuff that I do on my own social media, this podcast was, you can't have a podcast in 2023 and it not hit social media. It's what built up the agency to where we are now. It's just that consistently. It's the only marketing we do is the podcast, putting out the clips on social media. And we're really about to figure out, okay, well, how do we really 10X what we're doing? Like if this small amount worked, how do we put the freaking throttle down and just hammer more and more of that content? But for the local to mid-sized companies, just a little plug of something that I think especially home service companies should be doing. Is Google local service ads, like the Google green check guaranteed ads. I've seen just what I have seen for the home service companies we've been setting up on it. We've been taking their traditional pay-per-click ads, that are yielding, obviously it's based on the click, but then, whatever that actual lead cost is, we've seen in some cases, we've cut their lead cost into a quarter of what they were spending. It's just insane how valuable that is. So anybody who listening to this, if you're in the home service, get with your marketing guy and tell them hey, we got to get this thing set up, because I think it's just a no-brainer in how those ads work. But I want to fast forward a little bit, and I want to learn from maybe some of the pitfalls and failures that you guys have had, because I'm a firm believer that failure has to be part of the equation. I would love to learn of, for each of you, a story of a setback that later, turned around and went the other way.
You got a bunch. Go ahead.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I do. But honestly, one of the simplest ones, and we're talking about small businesses here in midsize, is mistakes I made that I had to learn the hard way, is I didn't appreciate and didn't even know that I needed a bookkeeper at the beginning. I was a small business. Guess what? You get done working your 12-hour shift, you go home on the desk or your kitchen table and you do your books. Well, I did that for a while. It got me in trouble because I just didn't have the education to know, the 941 taxes, the payroll taxes, the sales tax, the state taxes, the franchise fees, anything like that. And so I didn't realize the importance of a back staff as I was growing. So I was so busy about opening the new business, but I didn't pay attention enough to what it takes to keep track of all the billing and all the things that need to be taken care of. And it cost me a lot of money in penalties and interest and not paying taxes at the beginning of my career. And it cost me several years, where it took me 3 years to get caught up. And so I was 4 years in the business, I was at zero. So the best thing I could say, if you're new, do not, as soon as you can hire an accountant, a qualified one, because there's a lot of bad ones out there, just like digital marketers. I spent a lot of money on stuff that doesn't work. But my biggest downfall in the beginning, getting started, was not understanding what it takes in the back office and having really good people, because most entrepreneurs are good at, making some widget, but they're not real good at the paperwork part, but they'll put themselves in that position and it will cost you money 10 times what you're going to have to pay someone to do a good job. I think Bo would probably say.
Yeah, that's been huge for us. And now our back office is solid. Yeah. I mean, and through a lot of our companies, and it hasn't always been that way, but it feels good and it allows you to do things, and it frees up time that you didn't realize you were losing. So obviously time is everything. So I would say one thing for me is recognizing talent. And then once you recognize that talent, is bringing them in to maximize your time. So if you're doing things in a, if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably working 10, 12 hours a day at least. But what are you doing during that 10 or 12 hours that you could be delegating away? And there was a lot of years through from 20 to 40 that I was just trying to do everything because I didn't think that I could afford to outsource it, but I just didn't value my time enough. And then once I did start recognizing talent and bringing people in underneath me and then training them up and then backing myself out, that's when we were really able to scale. I mean, me and this guy, we grinded for so many years. And then once we got together and we used each other's expertise, and then his brother lives out in Texas and manages and pretty much runs the majority of everything out in Texas, all of our commercial buildings, the storage and stuff that we have out there. Using each one of our talents and recognizing who's best at what, and having some self-awareness that, hey, I'm probably the best one to negotiate, Mike's probably the best one to run a meeting. His brother's probably the best one to rehab and refurbish and this and that. So I don't step on his toes. He doesn't step on my toes, and we're all chasing that same football. And so staffing up is like partnering up. It helps you to scale, or you just keep doing the same grind every day, and you're not maximizing what your value is. You're not realizing what your value is. And you should be running at your value every day. As a kid, I don't know for you, but it was always like, hey, work on those weaknesses. You got to go take some more training and this and that. No, that is true a little bit, but run at what you're good at, and then staff up on the things that you're not. And once you do that, it took off for us, man. It's still, we're in awe of all the shit that we got going on. But because we let it go and let people manage things, and we've staffed up and scaled, it's easier to do the things that we're doing today than what it was from 20 to 40 when we were running businesses.
Absolutely. So I know you guys hit on, social media being a valuable and useful tool for attracting new business, attracting customers, and getting some of that market share. How do you feel it does on the recruitment aspect of recruiting people into the business? Do you think that has a strong pull as well?
100%.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, whether it's employees or relationships, we've gotten so much from social media of people that want to do business with us or want to come work for us. Yeah. Because we've had a lot of employees that have turned into millionaires because they grinded, they showed the discipline and persistence. And so, boom, next thing you know, there was something there that we latched onto, and we mentored them and became partners and scaled with them.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Yeah. So there's been a couple of football references so far. We went into the Super Bowl, and now I want to get into almost like a 2-minute drill type of deal as we're approaching the fourth quarter of the year, which is where everybody's going to try to run and crush and get as much revenue in as they can before the clock runs out. What do you think are some things that businesses should be thinking about right now if they're trying to really expand going into this last quarter of the year?
For me, I think what we talked about earlier, there's a lot of fear in the market and a lot of fear in entrepreneurs, a lot of fear at the banks. So there's just a lot of fear. I mean, obviously you brought it up, so you're asking us. So there's a fear out there that is palatable. People are feeling it. But if you're in business, this will pass also. So whatever you're planning on doing, I would say just be moving forward as fast as you can, because you got to keep growing through thick or thin. So if you because right now there's a sentiment like, oh, I'll just pause and wait for interest rates to go down. Well, we just had lunch with a guy in Texas, 80 years old, has multiple shopping centers, and I can't wait to sit down and have lunch with him. I go, well, David, what do you think of these interest rates? God, how are we going to start making money again? Now they went from 3.5% to 7, 8, 9% now. He goes, what are you talking about? I'm 80 years old. I've been self-employed my whole life. I never seen those 3.5% and 4% interest loans ever. I've always made money at 7 and 8. So he goes, I don't even know what you're talking about. It doesn't matter. You just had a break. He goes, it's never coming back. So with that in mind, if the interest rates are always going to be where they're at, and of course they change, you got to act as if, hey, how are you going to make money? How are you going to grow your business in today's market right now? You can't wait. You got to be moving forward.
Yeah. I love that freaking perspective. I love that. The years of the low interest rates, those were like gimme years for them, I'm sure.
It was, hey, we had a Christmas, right? It lasted 7 years. It was great. What are you going to do? Wait for that to come again? It's never coming. What if the interest rates only go up? You're going to try to quit making money? You're going to go to work for the post office?
Yeah. Yeah, and you think 80 years, he's seen it all. Yeah. 80 years, he's seen it.
Never seen 3.5% bank loans, commercial loans.
Yep.
So
wow, very, very cool.
So we're not stopping on anything that we're doing. I mean, honestly, we're just pushing forward even harder. I mean, we're just grinding that much more to try and we're well diversified in multiple different sectors, but even in each one of our companies, we look to diversify within that company. I've got a swimming pool company. I couldn't build all the swimming pools that we were selling. Well, now it's slowing up and I staffed up. So guess what? Had a sales meeting the other day. Hey guys, we built all these pools. We've been in business nearly 20 years. How about some more remodels? Let's push some remodels. How about some landscaping? back in the day, I went through '08. It was a crunch, man. I started doing epoxy floors. And I mean, I did anything and everything to grind and crunch through it. There's always something else out there. Or you just sit back and go, that's what I do. And it's slow right now.
Lost my investors' money. Dang it.
Yeah.
No.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I love that, even just that pivot mindset of, okay, well, maybe people aren't doing as many installs, but, you know, we could do liner replacements, tile replacements,
whatever,
pump replacements. There's so much on the other end of that thing where even just right on down to traditional old service or like an opening and closing.
Yeah, 100%, you know, and we got a database of 20 years of pools. And we got a great relationship. We're 5-star across everything. So get back out. They're going to love to see you. They don't even realize that they need your services. So no, we're not going to market them. We're going to go knock on doors. We got a database. We're going to make phone calls. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, but it's coaching your people through that stuff too.
We have one business partner that he goes, the fish are in the ocean. They eat every single day. You're just using the wrong lure. So guess what? Switch up. You got to try something new.
Change up
the
your
fish
bait.
are eating every day. Just because you're not catching them, you caught them last week at the same spot. They're still out there and they're still going to eat lunch today. You just aren't using the right lure. So we just always got to be hustling, man.
Yeah. So as we get close to rounding out the episode, I always like to give every guest an opportunity to just plug, you know, where it is that people, you know, in your guys' case, I know I follow you on TikTok. I'm sure you're on every other platform there is, but, you know, if you don't mind, just kind of share a little bit of, you know, where people can go to follow you if they want to check out more content, or if they're interested in the businesses, or if they're local to the service area of what you guys do. Feel free to share whatever you guys got. That way people know where to follow you and connect.
So we're on all platforms. We are going to be starting up a podcast here soon, but we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, obviously, is where you're following us. But we're getting ready to start our courses. So we've been putting a lot of effort into recording and putting our courses work together. You'll end up seeing that ads popping up on Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that for those courses. But we should be rolling those out here in the next 2-3 months. We also do Zoom calls once a week, every Thursday at 4:00. Just if anybody's got that entrepreneurial spirit and they want some coaching in that, it's a real good networking and a mastermind type situation where you get a lot of good people in there that are all just talking about their business and their opportunities. And probably it's an hour long. So for 30 minutes, we're giving a spill on a different topic every week. And then we open up to Q&A. So it's really good. I mean, we enjoy it as much as the people that are on there. And there's a lot of value in it. It's a lot of groundbreaking entrepreneurs that just never had an opportunity or a mentor to talk to. We're kind of serving as that mentor for them. So I would say that's probably the best place to reach out to us. Business-wise, Houston Motorsports, if you're in the Houston area, we got 5 different locations out there. We're in a small community here in Arizona. We own Mojave Storage. We own Mattress Land and Furniture. I got a bread distribution company. I got aquatic construction, aquatic pools. We got Court Fabrication out in Texas. We got Aquatic Pools of Houston. So we got some Verbos. We got a lot of stuff in a lot of different areas. But check it out on our social media, and you'll find some of our businesses. And I guarantee you go in and check them out. You're going to have a good experience. We've got a good culture, great people working behind us. So,
and what we've done is our businesses, we've taken the profits, and that's how we get our real estate funding is through our businesses. But so we're just as much into business as we are real estate. And anything that we're coaching, we're staying in our lane. We're not exaggerating on anything. You're not going to start buying our course or following us and get rich quick or anything like that. It's super hard, more of a mindset than anything. But if you got what it takes and you want to follow along, we're working every single day to build our brand, and looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And here's what I'm going to say for everybody listening or watching. Go check out their TikTok, because I guarantee you, if you see the toys that these guys have just in their warehouse, it's enough to make you jealous. That's for sure.
And the thing is, honestly,
a crazy layout you guys have over there.
And we've always lived below our means and waited a long time to enjoy some of the fruits of our work. So it's been a grind, but it's been just as much fun building it as it is playing with the toys. So
yeah, and honestly, like
and just. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bo.
I was just going to say the best place to reach out to us is probably just DMing us on Instagram. It's going to be the best way for us to connect.
Absolutely.
It's Mike and
Yeah, and before we close this out, I do want to ask about the course, like what type of stuff you guys are building into that course, just so we have a little bit more like grit on it.
To just kind of umbrella, it's wealth building. So it's wealth building through real estate, and it's wealth building through business. So if you're 25 years old and you're looking to get into real estate, you want to get your first acquisition, whether it be a verbo, a multifamily, commercial, we kind of just lay it out for you, the groundwork of how it works, the best way to go through it, and just to cut out some of those. We always say, as we're older, our crystal ball is clearer. You know, everything was so cloudy. So we try and clear up that crystal ball for you to show you how to acquire financing, how to acquire a property, and then how to scale it. And then on the business side, it's everything from A to Z in business. Yeah. So.
And it starts with a mindset, though. It's really because it's not for everyone. Your job, obviously, it's not for everyone. And what we do isn't for everyone. It's just we're in a part of time in society where the entrepreneur is kind of a celebrity now. No one used to care. The guy down the street owned a business. When I started, no one gave a shit what we were doing. But now it is something. It's like people want to meet the person who owns what business. But so there's a lot of people that think it's easier than it is. And on our course, we just want to go, hey, it's not. But if you do these things, you have the right mindset, you can find success.
Absolutely. Well, Mike and Bo, I just want to say I appreciate your time. I appreciate you guys coming on the show and really bringing the heat. You know, for those listening, I want to make it very simple for you to be able to connect with Mike and Bo. So you've listened to the episode, you've heard everything that they have to say. We're going to make it very simple on our website. If you go to Lava Hot Podcast, just go to the little search bar. You'll search for Mike and Bo. We're going to have a link right there for their profile, but we're going to include their social media, access to their social media. If for some reason their podcast is launched, once this episode is aired, we'll go ahead and include that in there as well. But we'll have access to their website, social media, so you can go ahead and follow them. And then I always want to close it out with, if you like this episode and you want to hear other episodes, feel free to check out, us, Lava Hot Podcast, pretty much any podcasting platform. Feel free to check us out on YouTube and all of our social media as well. One thing that I always ask, because this is just something that we like to do, we pay for these episodes so we can bring on bright minds like Mike and Bo to share what it is that they do, what they've done, and how they've done it. I just ask that you go to our show anywhere and either like, subscribe, or leave us a review. But with that, Mike and Bo, thank you so much for coming on to the show. Excited to hear about the course as that starts to roll out. We'll definitely include that into our link and into your bio once that's ready to rock and roll as well. And with that, that's a wrap.
Right on, man.
Hey,
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You've been listening to the Lava Hot Podcast with Joseph Connell Jr. Do you want to level up your business? Then visit us at golavahot.com for a free marketing analysis.